I've been to the meetings, and I have submitted plans for congressional redistricting, for the state senate redistricting, and I'm working on one. I've been a strong supporter of single-member districts for 30 years. Mr. Robb was talking about what happened in South Charleston. That was my plan. I came up with a plan for 8 single-member wards in South Charleston, actually 2 plans. And we, at that time, had 4 2-member districts and 2 1-member districts. And the council, rather than doing what they should have done, which was move to single-member districts, went out and paid an attorney thousands of dollars to try to perpetuate the status quo. So what I did, with advice from Mayor Robb's father, who suggested, why don't you look at the city charter, even though we don't have it in West Virginia, we do have it in South Charleston, initiative, referendum, and recall. I drafted an initiative, formed a group called South Charlestonians Organized for Reapportionment Equity, or SCORE, and we got a petition drive, we got it on the ballot, and we had it taken. This was 1983, it passed, and since then, effective 1987, we've had 8 single-member districts in South Charleston. Now, I've heard some comments recently about women won't get elected. We had 2 male incumbents defeated by female challengers in our elections in the primary a few days ago. We also had a male and a female, and the female beat him. She'd been appointed to the council. This idea that somehow hurts women, that is ridiculous. Because look at all the states that have single-member districts and see the participation of females across the country, you'll see that that completely rebuts the argument that somehow it's going to have an adverse effect on women. In any event, I'm going to start with the House of Delegates. I'm in the process of drafting a plan. Years ago, I submitted a plan, actually when we had 12 from Kanawha County, and although my plan wasn't adopted, the work papers I used allowed me to come up with a plan for 4 magisterial districts, grouping 3 of the districts that I already had done. And my single-member district plan will try to keep cities from being divided, and will also try to keep counties from being divided. Doesn't mean within the county you're going to try to have the maximum number of single-member districts. There will not be any of the gerrymandering that's going on in Putnam County, where they have people from Logan County representing people in Putnam County. So anyway, I'm working on it. I have at least 1 sponsor in the House of Delegates. It'll probably take a few weeks for me to finish it. It's an awful lot of work, but I am developing a plan for 100 single-member districts for the House of Delegates. With respect to congressional redistricting, I've already submitted 3 plans to be run through the computers of the Legislative Redistricting Office, and I got back the second one. Now, I'm vehemently against what we have right now, where we have Charleston and Charlestown in the same district. That was the worst gerrymander in the history of West Virginia, in my opinion, the idea of putting Mason and Charlestown, Mason County and Jefferson County in the same district. We're supposed to have compact districts. That means round as opposed to long. Can you think of anything less compact than the congressional district, which extends from Charlestown to Point Pleasant? I submit it should be obvious. I wish the federal court had struck it down, but it didn't. But this is the year we need to fix it. So the second plan that's been run through the computers, I would like to present this to Senator Unger. You can be sure of one thing, none of my plans will have Charleston and Charlestown in the same congressional district. With respect to senatorial redistricting, I've also submitted a plan which is being run through the computers of the redistricting office. Let me explain what I'm trying to do. First, Kanawha County should get, in my opinion, a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 4 senators. And for people who don't understand the state constitution, if you have 2 folks that live in the same county, if that's all you have, if you have enough population in the county that you can have both senators in the same county, which would be 109,000, then you can elect both of them from there. But if you cross county lines, even if you just got 1 precinct in the other county, that precinct elects a senator, and then the rest of the big county elects the other. I mean, they elect them together, but you end up with 1 senator from a little piece of a county or a small county, and then 1 from the other. Kanawha County has enough to justify a possibility of 4 state senators. So basically, under my plan, you would have magisterial districts 1 and 2. Magisterial district 1 is the east end, part of Kanawha City, the upper Kanawha Valley. basically. Magisterial District 2 South is South Charleston, Dunbar, South Hills, and so it's basically the southern half of Kanawha County. Now, the 109,000 of them would be grouped together and they would elect 2 senators within that 109,000 people. The next thing would be to put Magisterial District 3 and Putnam County together. Putnam County has almost exactly 1/34 of the state's population. So if you put Putnam County, Magisterial District 3, which includes St. Albans, Nitro, and Cross Lanes. I drafted the districts 20 years, about the mid-90s, and they only had to change 1 precinct after 2000 census, so I had to make some small changes. But basically, you put Magisterial District 3 and Putnam County, plus a few precincts in Magisterial District 4, which is basically the northeastern quadrant of Kanawha County, and that would be a senatorial district composed of 109,000 people. So Putnam and that part of Kanawha County would elect 2 senators, one from Kanawha County, one from Putnam County. The remainder under my plan, the remainder of the county would be put in with the rural part of Kanawha County. The Upper Elk area would be put in with the remainder of the district that Putnam County is now part of, plus Calhoun, and you can be sure, none of my plans is Rome County going to be split. I believe somebody spoke to Rome County. So that would work, but we would only have about 25 or 30% of the population of that district. We would have a shot, if my plan were adopted by the state senate, of electing a 4th, but you'd have to convince the people in the majority of the district to do so. So let's go for a possibility of 4. Floor of 3, ceiling of 4. That's what's fair. Now, why we have an 8th and a 17th? Under the state constitution, you can only have a maximum of 2 senators from a county. So what happened was that's what we did. That's how we operated until the early 1960s. A federal court case called Baker v. Carr, B-A-K-E-R-V-C-A-R-R, and that said that federal courts could have jurisdiction, but it was a justiciable issue. You did not have to just let the legislators do whatever they pleased. And so, as a result of that, they realized that Kanawha County was way underrepresented, so the first thing they did was to superimpose the 17th on top of the 8th. That should have just been a stopgap thing. It should have been fixed in 1970, but a procrastination award should be given to the state senate, not present company included, but a procrastination award. In 1970, after the census, what should have been done is first we should have renumbered. The numbering of the senatorial districts and the House of Delegates districts starts at the top of the Northern Panhandle. That's the first district up at Chester or Mountaineer Park, and it goes all the way around and get to Charlestown. That's the end. So before the imposition of the 17th and the 8th, we were the 8th district. After the 70 census, they should have made 2 separate districts, logically the 8th and the 9th, and then everything would have been moved up. But for who knows why the state senate for nearly 50 years has been too lazy to renumber the senatorial districts. Please get it done. Under my district, the numbering is that Jefferson and Berkeley will be where they belong, and the 17th will no longer apply to Kanawha County. It should have been fixed in 1970. The second thing is about the maps, and I understood the comments made about the maps weren't available. I respectfully would point out they were available back even then. The state senate produces a document called the West Virginia Blue Book. And back in the 60s and 70s and up till, recently, they gave a breakdown of the population of every magisterial district in the state. And in the 60s, when I was a teenager, we had a total of 10 magisterial districts. They're now called tax districts, but then they served as magisterial districts. We elected our justices of the peace, 2 from each of the magisterial districts. We also elected constables. And that was in effect till after the implementation of the Judicial Reorganization Amendment of 1974. So we started with magistrates effective January 1st, 1977. We had plenty of data back in those days to divide Kanawha County evenly. It wasn't that we didn't have the data. I suggest it was that people did not want to do it for other reasons. We had the maps. You didn't need computers to divide. If you don't believe me, I can show you the blue books and show you what great detail it was. And we certainly knew where the magisterial district lines were because people had to run for justice of the peace and constable. So there wasn't a problem with maps. The problem was with the people in the state senate who didn't do what they should have done. But please, we can't undo the past. This year, let's have no overlaid districts. And we need to have single-member districts. And I want to give you one final point on single-member districts. And I use this example just to try to tell you how bad, except for New Hampshire, which has a House of Delegates of 400 people. West Virginia has the highest multi-member district in the United States. Now, I was thinking, just make me think about this tonight. You ever watch the Waltons? Remember, you had Zebulon and Esther and John and Olivia and then all the kids. Not in Virginia, where Earl Hamner grew up, could they do this, but in West Virginia, that family could all live in the same house. And once and 7 of them reached, assuming they were still alive today, once 7 of them reached the age of 18, not only could they all be run for the House of Delegates in this district at 30, although we're sitting at 31, they could actually be elected. This is the only place in the United States that you could have a family as big as the Waltons have the entire delegation. And this, to me, is a personal embarrassment. We need to toss multiple member districts into the ash can of history. Thank you very much.